What's up, my hunting brothers and sisters? Today we are taking a look at the Method 3 saddle from Latitude Outdoors. Is it really the best two-panel saddle that's out there? Stay tuned, let's talk about it. All right, so the Latitude Method 3 saddle. So I've had this for quite a while actually, and while I've done other like unbox, show it like right now, reviews, here's the latest and greatest saddle or hunting equipment, and a lot of other people did that. There's a lot of reviews on that, where literally people are reviewing gear with no time in the saddle whatsoever, and I've done that. And I think it's a disservice to all of you as the viewers. So I'm gonna tell you my real opinions of this saddle now that I have put in at least a dozen, but probably more than a dozen sits in this saddle so far this year. What do I love about it? What criticisms do I have about it? Should you or should you not buy this saddle? I'm just gonna tell you straight up my opinions. Okay, so full disclosure, I did not pay for this saddle, okay? Latitude Outdoors sent this to me. I have no professional affiliation with Latitude Outdoors. I know all of the guys personally. I think they're wonderful. I think they make wonderful pieces of gear. I say all that because I also know almost everybody in the saddle mobile hunting industry space, no matter the brands. And so just because I know somebody doesn't mean I'm going to tell you that I do like or don't like their product, okay? But they did send this to me. I did not pay for it, okay? This is the Method 3. I also happen to own, I think have owned every saddle that Latitude has ever made, okay? They make great saddles. That doesn't mean that I always hunt out of them. I don't necessarily. I've hunted out of a lot of brands of saddles. So I have a large frame of reference to compare this against other saddles. I am a two-panel saddle person. I love two-panel saddles. That's just where I'm at. If you've ever followed my channel, you know that I've done reviews on single-panel saddles, and they're fine. Latitude makes probably the best, in my opinion, single paddle, being their Maverick. I love that little thing, but two panels for me is where it's at, okay? I like the back support. I like being able to throw it down underneath my butt a little bit further. I like it. Okay, that comes with the price. They're bulkier, they're a little more fidgety. You gotta, mess with things and all that. So, whatever. But that's who I am, that's what I like. All right, so let's talk about the Latitude Method 3. Now, I have for comparison right here, this is my old Latitude Method 2 saddle, okay? Two panel. I hunted out of this saddle exclusively for the better part of 2.5 seasons, I would say. Really like this saddle. Things I like about this saddle is how lightweight it is. It's very compact. If you look at it, its profile from top to bottom is much shorter than, say, the new Method 3. It's much lighter. Now, granted, this does have a dump pouch on it, but you can just tell. I mean, all the padding in this Method 3 versus this open panel system on this is, this is going to be way lighter. So it's more packable. If you want to like wad it up and throw it in your pack or whatever to carry it in, this is definitely a better choice for that than, say, this is. If they're even making these anymore, I don't know. This is a wonderful saddle, but one of the problems with the cool part about this saddle is the magnetic, that it's held up by magnets as far as the bottom to the top. But when they designed it, they only had 3 magnets in here, and I talked to them several times. My biggest critique about it was, A, the magnets need to be like physically like larger around so you had more surface area, and B, stronger, because I would have problems at times hiking in and the bottom panel drops away from the top panel. And so much so that I actually, when I was running this saddle, I put a Kydex hook up here on one of the molly strips and a little bungee cord here, and I'd hook it, and so it could mechanically keep it up, and then I would just flip it down and all that. But I say all that because I loved this saddle. Okay, enough about that saddle though. Let's talk about the Method 3. Okay, so the Method 3, if you've watched any reviews, It's got just tons of built-in padding, a lot more support on it. Its top and bottom panels still magnetically attach, okay? And it's a better system than they had before. Okay, they separate. You basically have got a metal wire system or band system in here, and you got a magnetic band or wire system in here. I haven't figured out exactly what's what here on it, but they basically attract, you know, pull each other in and hold each other up. You have these draw cords, and we're going to talk about all this here in a minute, what I like and don't like about the whole system, that allow you to pull the bottom saddle or bottom panel up to seat into the top panel. Okay, it's kind of a slick design, but it's not perfect. I'll just full disclosure on that. Okay, so you've got the loop, the ring of MOLLE around the top panel piece. This is just a hook I use. I hang my one stick on it when I'm rappelling down, and obviously you can put whatever dump pouches you want on it. This happens to be one of their new operator pouches. Proof I've used this a lot. This thing is dirty. I've got dirt all over this thing. This is their larger size one. I like it. I like both of them. I got the small one as well. My daughter's using it right now in her saddle. I like it. But I'm not even going to really address it in here. I think overall it's a really well thought out dump pouch. Is it perfect in my opinion? No, but it's really well thought out. I do like the fact that it's got these quick disconnects, and I can just chuck this thing to a side, which I'm going to, because we're going to focus on the saddle itself. Okay, so again, here's the saddle. Okay, you've got leg loops that are removable. You can un-G-hook them there, and they G-hook up in here where it's covered, so you don't have metal to metal contact. Now, the thing you're going to see different about my saddle than when you buy them is I have an actual belt in mine, a buckle belt. Okay, the rope belts I've always had a love-hate relationship with. I like them on the lightweight saddles, being like the Maverick, being like the Method 2, but heavier saddles like, say, the Lone Star, I didn't like it. It's the saddle is just too heavy, especially when you kit it out with, say, a dump pouch, maybe a pull-up rope system or whatever. It's too heavy in my opinion, and the Method 3, in my opinion, falls into that category. It just wasn't, the rope belt was not for me, okay? It was not. So and you can do whatever you want, okay? This is just all personal preference. So I ordered off of their website, I paid for it, their Lone Star belt, and put it in here. I replaced it. Okay, boom, it's in there. It's no big deal. I did hockey tape it to the straps that go to the leg straps so it doesn't free float. I don't like that, or like, oh God, pull it out, or I could do this or that, whatever. I cut the length down because I didn't need that much extra belt on here. So there is that. So I am a metal belt buckle person. That's me. Whatever, that's just me. Another thing that you will find is they have their butter bridge on these, their new butter bridge, which is an AmSteel core within their outer sheath that is kind of like their tether and lineman ropes use. Okay, I really like it a lot. What I did do, I personally like my adjustment on my left side. I'm a right-handed shooter, so I tend to roll to my left. I want as much cord as I can, so I always like it on the left. So I reverse these. Don't do it unless you know what you're doing when it comes to tying knots. Okay, I happen to, so I did, and then I shortened it because I don't like a long bridge, so I cut probably that much out of it and shortened it down. Again, I'm not telling you to modify your saddles. I'm just telling you what I did, okay? That's what I did, okay? So I'm just gonna get this off of here. We don't need this. This is just some of my hunting stuff. It's just gonna get in the way as we talk about this thing further. Come on. All right, so there you have it, okay? There is the saddle, and those are their key features that they talk about. And I think the best way to show you more about this saddle is for me to put it on and then connect to a tree so we can talk about some different features, okay? So I'm just gonna step into it. Again, I like using the leg loops. That's me. You may not, and that's you, okay? Now, I tilt this down just a fuzz, because here's the first annoyance that I have. Every time I put it on, look what happened. This dropped down, okay? The magnetic system is not perfect, okay? So I'm gonna show you right now, every single time that I put it on, this happens. So then I have to come back, and it is slick. You got these cords here, okay? And you pull on each of these cords, and you pull. Now what I find is, there it clicked up. On this side, it's not clicked in yet. So I tend to have this problem of it not wanting to click in all the way. So what I've found a lot of times is that I have to come up and I kind of have to like do this like little shake dance thing to get everything where it's at, and then I kind of just have to tap things and make sure things are lined up. Then it stays up, okay? I have not had it fall down while I've been walking yet. I hiked at one point about 1.5 miles in and 1.5 miles out on a hunt on some public, and it never fell down. I didn't have it. I've had one instance, and this was a problem that I had with the Method 2, where I was squatting down, and when I did, somehow it popped apart, okay? So I'm not knocking the saddle at all. I really, really, really like the saddle. But what I'm saying is, in my opinion, this is a good system, but there's a fidget factor to it. I almost wish that there was a way to lock this in the upright position and then unlock it. And one of the things I've thought about doing is undoing all this and putting a second one of these cinch things right here that you can see that they use on this rope, to where I can slide it up and down to hold it in that position and keep tension on these. Again, I mentioned on the Method 2 that I had a Kydex loop and a little hook. I like that security on saddles. That's just me. And I'm just gonna say there is a little bit of a fidget factor with this system, okay? That's all I'm saying, not knocking it at all. So let's get it on the tree. Okay, again, I'm a 2-panel guy. I like, a lot of times, a lot of back support, okay? And so all you're gonna do, you got these thumb loops here, and you're gonna separate them. And then I bring this up on my back, usually fairly high. And I will tell you that this is hands down the most comfortable 2-panel saddle that I've ever sat in. And again, I've sat in many. My favorite before this one was a Buzzard Roost. And I'm gonna show you one here in a minute because I think it's worth the comparison of the two. But this is more comfortable than the Buzzard Roost to sit in long-term in the tree. And again, I've put in a dozen or more sits in this saddle. Whether I'm sitting, whether I'm leaning, whether I'm standing up, there's no changes with anything. I keep mine, I let mine go fairly wide open because again, I tend to like the back support. I like having some back support behind me, okay? So very, 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 very comfortable. Really like it a lot. Really, really, really like it a lot. Again, I keep that short bridge. I've reversed mine because when I'm rolling a lot, it's typically the right, and I want as maximum that I can. So that's why I reversed this. I wish it was an option where you could get them that way from the factory or have the choice, but they also produce at a large scale. So customizing and custom orders might be difficult. I've never inquired about it because honestly, it's no big deal for me to, it took me 10 minutes to redo this thing the way I wanted it. So anyways, but again, modify a saddle at your own risk, okay? I'm sure Latitude would not advise it, okay? So we're going to, we get down, however you get down out of the tree, however you hang. And again, so I'm gonna drop this down and then I'm going to take and pull these. And again, I find I kind of have to do this little wiggle dance and do that, and then everything's good, okay? So there's that. So how does this compare then to what I personally thought was the best 2-panel saddle out there prior to this? And I'm not saying one is better or worse than the other, but here is, for example, a Buzzard Roost. And I always think you're doing a disservice when you I will say that these are premium products. And I think that any review of a premium product deserves a comparable to what is probably the best competition out there. The Buzzard Roost saddle is legendary for how comfortable it is, how well built it is, its features and all that. I will say comfort-wise, in my opinion, the Method 3 is a little more comfortable for my body type than the Buzzard Roost. But the Buzzard Roost is very, very comfortable, okay? Buzzard Roost has the built-in buckle system band like I like, okay? Now, as far as like adjustability and all that, it's 6 of one, half dozen the other to me. In fact, I even on the Buzzard Roost had to put some zip ties on to keep the bridge where I wanted it at all times. I found it would slip and it got annoying, but it's no big deal. I mean, I modify about everything I have. So the Buzzard Roost is going to be lighter weight. It's going to be more in line with the weight of the Method 2. They're very similar in their panel constructions and all that stuff, okay? The Buzzard Roost is going to be able to fold up and throw into a backpack. You're not going to do that with the Method 3, okay? So those are factors that you need to consider when you're buying a saddle. I personally never pack my saddle into a pack. I film hunts. My pack is filled with camera gear. I don't have room to put a saddle in it, so that isn't a big deal to me. Once this is on, yes, it weighs more than this, but you don't feel the weight. I don't feel any of the weight on it, and it's very comfortable to walk in. Excuse me. You can shorten your bridge up and pull everything in if you want it nice and tight. Throw your bridge around you and all that. It's fairly tight right now, but yeah, you can walk in like this, and so you got a nice compact system here. Whether you decide to use your lineman, hang your lineman, or pack it up, whatever. It's a nice and compact system. So there you go. So, you know, I will say that again, going back to the Buzzard Roost, the cool thing, you know, about their panel system is they're on these strap systems that disconnect or they get slides. I've never disconnected them once. I always use the slide system. I would pull out on this to extend it out, and when I got down, I'd pull that up, and it never moved, okay? So I like that, and I wish in the Method 3 there was some way. I like the magnets. I think it's awesome, but I think that there needs to be a way to physically lock them together in some way, shape, or form. I think that would be a good improvement. And that, I think, can simply be done, like I said, is adding another one of these, and I'm probably going to do it so that I can slide that all the way back there, and then that keeps tension on it, and then it can't slide down, okay? So I'm probably going to make that mod. So I say all that stuff and go, is this the right saddle for you? And here's what I'm going to tell you. It's the right saddle for me. For what I do. Is it perfect? No, but I really, really like it. And I'll have discussions with the whole team at Latitude about the little odds and ends where I think they could even up this thing further that we've talked about. But I would say if you're a guy who likes a 2-panel, if you're a guy who doesn't mind wearing it in, okay, then this is probably the choice for you. If you're a guy that needs to wad it up, fold it up tight, and put it in a backpack, then something else like the Buzzard Roost or an old Method 2 might be better for your situation, okay? I also think that if you are a guy who just wants the most comfortable thing, this is obviously it. There is a little bit more fiddle factor with this saddle. In particular, you know, making sure that magnetic, you know, that lower panel is held up there and stays up there and all that. Is it extreme? No, it's not. But I would be lying if I didn't say that when I put it on and I get it on and it's like this, you're like, come on, man. I mean, I just kind of go, huh, okay, here we go. You know, hey, first world problems, right? First world problems. But if you're going to evaluate a product, you know, you got to be willing to call out where it really hits a home run and other areas where it could be improved. And I just think that that's one of them, is the ability to mechanically keep that up more than what the magnets do. It's definitely is improved over the Method 2. There's no doubt about it. The comfort's improved over the Method 2. The quality is probably overall improved over the Method 2. Packability, not so much. Heavier, it's heavier. But there you go. So, all right, that's it. I just wanted to do a real review video on this saddle. You know, and you can determine whether it's the right saddle for you. I do know that the guys at Latitude are great. They stand behind their products. Wonderful guys, producing probably the best, and as a side note, the best hunting content out there, in my opinion, as far as videos and stuff like that with their Grit series. You know, but then everybody in the saddle and mobile hunting space, they're wonderful people. They all are. I know most all of them, and they're all wonderful. So, you know, I mean, I know Benny over at Buzzard Roost. I mean, makes a great product as well. So if you need something more collapsible and foldable, maybe that's your route. If you want the ultimate in comfort and, you know, just overall, just a great saddle, this is probably your route as well. So there you go. I'm going to leave it at that. I'm excited to get out in the woods tonight, put this thing through another set. So as always, God bless, stay safe. Always make sure that you're tied off when you're climbing and you're saddle hunting, whether it's one sticking, multi-sticking, whatever. Be safe from the time you leave the ground to get back to the ground so you can go back to your family and friends. And hope you have a great deer season. It's a new day in the outdoors.